Hey guys, back for part two. Again, we were going over pickup points and center of gravity. Let me show you what I mean with center of gravity. Center of gravity is as low as the actual height of the car. You see that? 3/4 of an inch to the pan. Can you see that? You want a little bit of rake to the front. So as she gets a little lower. I'm trying, guys. Give me a break. We got no equipment here. This phone. A little higher in the back, 7/8. Okay. So that's your center of gravity. So what you do is you take that. Now that you have those numbers. Yes, we're going to be getting on the scales. I'm getting a little. There we go. Okay. You can take those measurements now. And this is what you do. You got your pickup point and your center of gravity. I'm not a good sketcher, don't make fun of me. Like I said, you move the battery forward. The longer the pickup point is from the center of the rear axle to those imaginary spots on the chassis we were doing on the first section. So your car is leaving hard, like I said, but it's unloading, say 10, 20 feet out. You move the battery forward. It moves this forward. Think of it as a long imaginary lever, because that's exactly what it is. The more you move it forward, the longer the lever is. It takes longer to transfer and holds it. Just think about that. Short, hits hard, doesn't hold it very long. Move the weight forward. Now, the opposite way around. If it's way out there and it's not hitting very hard, but then it hooks up and takes off, move the weight back till you find that sweet spot. Mark it down. Keep that in your notes. Now, let's figure out our springs. Get the car on the scale. I see a lot of you guys use grams. I use ounces. Easier for me. So we'll get the car on there. Probably should have put this on first before I did this. There's my weights, 79 ounces. The body is just under a pound. So as you can see, she's a little heavy to the driver's side. Now, why is that? Well, because if the car does lock the tire up, it's going to go left. So you want more weight on this tire. So for instance, for me, I would have to adjust my sway bar right there. You guys, or anyone without a sway bar, let me get to the front, would have to adjust your spring perch. You would put more weight on the tire on the direction it's going, not going. So if it's going that way, you put weight on this tire. Whoops. If it's going this way, you put weight on that tire. We'll get to the wheelie bar. This is just basic getting it straight under decent power. Again, in the front, all you want this thing to do for the springs is you're using that for driving. That's it. As you can see my weights, it's got a little cross to it. That's what we call it. But how many of you people know that run 40% weight to the front, 60 to the back? Watch how that changes and how it corresponds with the pickup points. Let me slide it forward. Look at that. Now you understand what I'm saying. And here's the reason why the weight needs to be low. But the battery is okay. See where she's located? Right in the center of the spindle. So when the car transfers weight, it's up high and it leverages back to the tire. Now, picking springs. What you want is the heaviest spring you can get to maintain ride height, but you want it soft. You want this spring soft. Look at that. You all see that? I know a lot of guys want their shit stiff. I have no reason why. I can't understand it. Another thing I have going for me, see how the dry shaft is pointed down along with the arm? Well, this U-joints on the end of these dry shafts will want to straighten themselves. So at ride height, it has squat built in it from the case. So with my heavy spring, I'm combating that by not letting it push down. And then also the U-joint is also wanting to straighten itself. And do you see how that car stays where I want it to? If I push it down, it bounces up to right, but if I pick it up, it stays. That's the spring, not the oil. You have to remember the spring holds the weight, the oil and the shock controls the spring. So in the front, like I told you guys, I don't use any RC oils or anything like that. So I have 30 weight oil, motor oil shock in the front, and I change between 30, 50 weight, and when it's really hot out and I need the front end more controlled, actually will go all the way up to this shit, STP oil treatment. And it works for me. Right now, it's getting hot out. It's not that hot, excuse me, so I'm at 30 weight all the way around. So, I don't know if there's any other questions, anything else I can give you. I love to run the stored spring weight, spring pressure in the front. That way when she comes up, it doesn't come back down on the rubbers. And another thing, you want your weights to always repeat. When you move the car around, look at that. That's what you're looking for. So anyways, if that helped anybody, I hope. Again, this is all based on what kind of squat you're running in the back, whether it be anti-squat, neutral, or squat. Right now, unfortunately, I have to run squat. I wish it was neutral. I love the sway bar. It's not for getting out of the hole. It's for mid-track down. When you have to put input in these cars, you don't want this body, this car rolling around. It magnifies the weight times 10. Again, this all is related to the power you're using, how you're applying it, how you want the chassis to pitch. When it picks up the front, that's a pitch. As it gets forward down track and the initial torque of the motor and the inertia has catched up to the car, it'll rotate flat down in the front. And then the body obviously will come into effect as you get up around 40 miles an hour or so. She should start using that as downforce too. So I'll be back with the final segment, which is wheelie bar, and after the first 10 feet out.